All right. I said we were going to do this. We're doing it. Racing fans rejoice. And those of you who don't know me, just get used to the furry thing. You're gonna have to live with it.
And Scott's got a very good race car.
Welcome to Good Runs. My name is Mex. In this continual series, we're shining the spotlight on teams and drivers that had an unusually strong or breakout run when it wasn't expected. Today, we're covering Scott Riggs in the 2006 Sharpie 500. Deep into the 2006 season, with only 3 races left until the chase for the Nextel Cup, the competition was beginning to heat up to claim the 10th and final spot. The season had proven fruitful for 2003 champ Matt Kenseth and newly crowned Brickyard 400 winner Jimmy Johnson, who was looking for his first title, as they had combined to win nearly a third of the season's 23 races thus far. Looking a little deeper, you had drivers that looked to strengthen their position with a strong run, as 4th in points Mark Martin had less than a single race cushion of points, and with a bad run could be in danger of falling out of the top 10. And every position from there on back was increasingly more vulnerable, but the battle looked to be at the very bottom of the grid. Between fan favorite Dale Earnhardt Jr., veteran Jeff Burton, who was having his best season in over half a decade, and hotshot rookie Denny Hamlin to maintain their precarious chase positions. In the meantime, you had the drivers hungry to get in, but without a realistic shot at doing so. 12th on back-end points, which included preseason championship favorites like last year's championship runner-up Greg Biffle, up-and-coming superstar Carl Edwards, and pole sitter for the race, 2004 champ Kurt Busch. All of them needing a small miracle to be able to qualify, leaving only third-year driver Kasey Kahne, driving for Evernham Motorsports, sitting at 11th with a realistic shot at making it in. Kahne won 4 of the season's first 15 races in his breakout 2006 tour, and him winding up here was the result of a summer struggle. Evernham Racing, on the other hand, seemed to only have that highlight, as their Busch and truck teams were not faring any better with development driver Aaron Crocker, and their veteran driver Jeremy Mayfield, who had won 2 races with the team the previous 2 years, had just left the team in a notoriously messy separation, averaging a 28th place finish before his departure and miring the team 34th in owners points, and at risk of having to qualify the car on speed, as any cars outside of the 35th in owners points at this time were not guaranteed a spot in the race, and their new driver Elliott Sadler was only making his 3rd start in this car. Lost in the midst of all this was the 3rd Evernham driver.
He is going to make his first trip to the Nextel All-Star Challenge. Riggs wins the Nextel Open.
35-year-old Scott Riggs in the Valvoline number 10, a new car to the Evernham stable after running the previous season under MBV Motorsports. Riggs, a 2003 Busch Series graduate, after underperforming his first couple of years with only 2 top 5s to his name, a 2nd and a 5th, one on attrition at Dover in 2004 and one on fuel strategy at Michigan, had been quietly having a decent season. After failing to qualify for the 2006 Daytona 500, Scott Riggs went to work immediately to recover his position and salvage the season. As without marked improvement, it's likely he would be in question to lose the ride. Riggs impressed though, racing his way into the All-Star race, damn near winning the Coca-Cola 600, and nearly doubling his total career top 10s by mid-season. Riggs started 23rd in the 2006 Sharpie 500, but it was Kurt Busch who led them to the green flag.
It'll pop.
Kurt Busch, Jeff Burton on the front row. 500 laps at Bristol. Enjoy the race.
Kurt Busch surrendered the lead to Jeff Burton by lap 11. By lap 20, Scott Riggs was already in the top 20. Jeff Burton led the next 41 laps until it was taken by Matt Kenseth, while Burton got stuck riding the outside line fighting lap traffic. Riggs ran 19th when the first caution was drawn by Sterling Marlin's 14 car, making contact with the outside wall.
Yeah, he definitely had a tire go down there. Right front probably went flat.
During the first pit sequence, Kurt Busch won the race off pit road and Scott Riggs gained a few positions to restart 14th on lap 68.
Kurt Busch leads on the restart.
On lap 77, the lead would be surrendered by Kurt Busch to Jeff Burton, who led until the next caution came out on lap 89 when Kyle Petty and Dave Blaney got together, sending Petty into the turn 1 wall.
Trouble. That's turn 2, and that's Kyle.
During this run, a new face had entered the top 10, Scott Riggs. The race restarted on lap 94, and while Jeff Burton ran away with the lead, Scott Riggs is talked about by the broadcast on lap 110.
Scott Riggs likes his race car, and he should. He started 23rd tonight.
The caution would be drawn a few laps later when rookie David Gilliland, driving the 38, would make contact with the turn 4 wall. Kurt Busch led one lap as the caution was drawn, then on a strategy call, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and 5 others stayed out on the track. Scott Riggs took 4 tired and restarted around 16th. Jr., much to the pleasure of the fans, led 8 laps before surrendering the lead to Carl Edwards, who was running the same strategy. On lap 137, Riggs runs 12th, and by lap 155, he's in the top 10 in 8th. The next lead change is missed under commercial break by the broadcast at lap 152.
TBS, new leader, just a moment ago.
Where Jeff Burton overtakes Carl Edwards to reassume the lead. During this long green flag run, Riggs holds steady in P8 while the TNT broadcast misses another lead change during commercial. Jeff Gordon bypassing Jeff Burton to lead his first laps of the night on lap 180. Gordon continued to fend off Burton until the next caution came out for third place running Kevin Harvick's contact with the wall on lap 203. While on pit road, Gordon narrowly avoids getting broadsided by Kevin LePage to retain the lead for the next restart on lap 208. Meanwhile, a new character has appeared in the top 5. The 10 car of Scott Riggs is now running 5th. Burton looked to make quick work of Gordon for the lead until a quick yellow came out for debris resulting from the bottleneck on the restart from Scott Wimmer missing a shift and getting rear-ended by Mark Martin.
Looks like the 4 car of Scott Wimmer misses a shift. Mark Martin clobbers him.
On the ensuing restart, Jeff Gordon gets held up by Mark Martin's damaged car, allowing the 31 of Burton to reclaim the lead on lap 219. Meanwhile, Riggs continues to run 5th. Burton holds off the charge of Gordon, Kenseth, and Kurt Busch to establish himself as the one to beat tonight. Scott Riggs gets his second mention on the broadcast on lap 224.
But that 10 car, Scott Riggs, good run for him. He's 5th and fast.
On lap 227, rookie Reed Sorensen has a flat left rear and spins trying to get on pit road, nearly ending Kurt Busch's night in the process. Scott Riggs, having made contact with the lap car of David Stremme, elected to pit under the yellow to check the damage, putting him towards the back of the lead lap on the lap 233 restart. Not one lap later, the caution comes out for the 07 of rookie Clint Boyer losing a wheel. And during this caution is when the contact between Scott Riggs and the 40 of David Stremme is shown on the broadcast.
The 40 drives up and hits the 10. 10 comes back, points his finger out the window. So there's 2 guys that are mad at each other already.
Yeah, here's the onboard with Stremme.
Burton leads the field to the next restart on lap 242. Evernham team cars now run 10th and 6th, with Kane being shown in 10th at lap 246, and Elliott Sadler, the new driver of the 19, is being shown in 6th place. The track stays green and incident-free through lap 282 when Riggs has shown having worked his way back up to 12th under green flag conditions. The lead changes hands on lap 318 when Matt Kenseth works his way around Jeff Burton. Meanwhile, Scott Riggs continues to impress, now being scored in the 9th position. On lap 324, David Stremme cuts down a tire and pounds the wall in turn 4.
40 car blows the right front right here, boom. Into the wall, hit the wall hard enough to break rotors,
drawing the 8th caution of the night. After another pit stop, Burton reclaims the lead, and Scott Riggs restarts 7th when they come back to green on lap 333. Tony Stewart, still in a vulnerable points position, finds himself 1 lap down on the inside lane for the restart. Riggs gets more praise from the broadcast on lap 346.
But you talked about Riggs early in the race. He's really fought back, had to make an unscheduled stop, even though it was under caution. He's worked his way back to 7th in that 10 car.
Burton continues to lead, looking for his first win in nearly 5 years, but not without a close call from the lap car of Casey Mears, and shortly thereafter puts a lap on the 2 of Kurt Busch, who had lost the handle on his car after making contact with the 41 earlier in the race after his spin, as well as a commitment line violation. The caution came out again on lap 381 when the 19 of Elliott Sadler and the 01 of Joe Nemechek come together, collecting the 18 of rookie J.J. Yaley. Under the yellow, Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the race off pit road with Matt Kenseth in tow. Burton got shuffled back to 3rd, and Scott Riggs restarted 7th. Then on lap 394, I'll let you guys listen to this one for yourselves.
Benny, here comes that rookie again.
I'm telling you what, this Denny Hamlin has been probably the most impressive driver I've seen this year. I kept saying, well, he's a rookie. He's going to have trouble here. He's going to have trouble at Watkins Glen, at Infineon, at Bristol. And so far, I've been wrong every time.
He proved you wrong.
Every time.
On lap 399, Earnhardt bobbles, allowing Kenseth to take the lead just before the broadcast shows the two-car in the garage having lost a transmission after his early domination. With 97 to go, Scott Riggs is shown passing Denny Hamlin for the 6th position. TNT featured Riggs on another through the field segment on lap 422.
Like a lot of guys in this field, Scott Riggs grew up racing on a short track. It was called Orange County Speedway, just a few miles from his home in Bahama, North Carolina. It was slightly smaller. They ran shorter races, but it was a short track rhythm that Scott grew up with, and he's very good at it, Alan.
Then more praise from the booth on lap 443 as he passes the dominant car of Jeff Burton for 5th.
And Riggs has been doing an excellent job in that 10 car. He's going to get the position from Burton as well.
Right after that, the final caution of the night would come out for the 19 of Elliott Sadler having made contact with the turn 1 wall. Kyle Busch leads one lap on pit road due to his pit box location, but the race off pit road would be won by Matt Kenseth. Scott Riggs would restart the race with 45 to go in 6th place. Riggs then passes Carl Edwards for 5th with 37 to go. What looked like a solid performance by Scott Riggs very well began to look like a winning performance if he had one more yellow flag. By 20 to go, Riggs is battling Jeff Gordon for 4th place but gets held up, settling for 5th until 2 laps to go, where he makes an aggressive move to take the spot from Gordon.
Matt Kenseth wins the Sharpie 500.
Matt Kenseth came home for the win, and Scott Riggs finished 4th. This impressive performance would be his final career top 5. In a career which started a little too late, driving for a team that showed one last gasp of being a real contender throughout 2006 before being mired to general irrelevance outside of Kane, Scott Riggs showed a rare spark of brilliance in this race that I wanted to highlight as being far more indicative of his true potential as a racer. While he tore up a lot of cars, admittedly, I never have seen Scott Riggs as a bust. Due to the impending downfall of Evernham resulting in mergers, as well as his general age, the fact that he wasn't particularly young, Riggs would be relegated to C-tier Haas CNC Racing after failing to keep pace with his team cars in 2007 and failing to qualify for several races, being given up on in favor of open-wheeler Patrick Carpentier towards the end of the 2007 season, and would eventually be shuffled out of the 66 ride when Tony Stewart would buy the team and field cars for himself and Ryan Newman. Riggs ran for 5 additional years before calling it a career after 2014. His son Lane has begun to show some muscle in the Truck Series this year, and maybe someone to watch just as his dad was. Well, I'd been thinking about making this for a while. How'd you like it? Want to see more like this? Leave a comment in the comment section highlighting an isolated elite performance or an unexpected breakout performance of a driver that you remember. While you're at it, please hit the like button to feed the algorithm and definitely share this, especially on Twitter because I ain't on there and I could use the traction. Also in this video's description, you'll see a link to my Ko-fi, my PayPal, as well as my Patreon. Now I completely understand if you can't do like the monthly commitment thing, but I will tell you that $1 a video on Patreon will get you access to my videos 2 days early, and you'll get the satisfaction of helping a small channel grow. You don't want to do the monthly? I completely understand. I also have a one-time donation. Feel free to tip for the work I put in this. But again, if you're not able to, that's completely fine. I completely understand. Feel free to just like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. We talk about lots of stuff here, not just NASCAR, but I do want to do occasional small videos like this to talk about my favorite sport. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed, and until next time, take it wheezy.